look at that. We lost
Oh.
Kjetil.
Hey,
That
good evening, everyone.
That was not the intro I planned to do. I planned to say something else, but we lost Kjetil. So let's see if we can get him back. Let's see. Yep,
Yes.
Kjetil's here again. You're 5'9", number 1.
Yes, I know. I forgot that this signs me out when I click login.
Lima Charlie 5 Lima. Is this the contest call?
Yes, it is. And for those who have been on the bands this weekend, they may have noticed there's a contest going on.
Yeah. Seems like, yeah. I won't say the bands aren't dead. Let's put it that way. And I actually tried to find a spot on 20 to call CQ Poda today. That did not work out.
Oh, I heard a very brave German on 40, and he was in there among the contesters. So that was fun.
For you or for him?
Well, I got QSO with him. He was activating POTA. So that was nice.
Was that the thing you posted right beneath the someone playing music on 20?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I sort of thought these were related, so I was figured maybe that was the second harmonic. But
no. No, it was Espen who said there was somebody playing. I think it was Chinese music or something on 20 meters, and both I heard it and Victor Echo 1 Sierra Kilo heard it over in Canada. So it was an Espen in Western Norway. So pretty heavy.
Pretty heavy. Yeah. We've already gone off topic. We're getting good at this. Topic of today is our favorite 3D printed ham thingies. I think. Let's see. Does it say anywhere here? Our favorite ham radio 3D prints is today's topic. And
oh boy.
We were planning to have this in a couple of weeks, but turned out that today's guest had double booked. So we'll get Arno on for Meshtastic and all kinds of LoRa stuff later on. So we had to shuffle around on a couple of things here. It's Palm Sunday today, if that means anything to you. But let's start out with the ham radio week. Jürgen, how's your week been?
Not too bad. It seems work is getting more and more. But yeah, I found a spot to activate a park on Tuesday because weather was great, around 17, 18 degrees. Spring-like, 21 degrees on Wednesday, I have to tell you, but on Thursday and Friday, winter arrived again. So it's freaking cold at the moment. And we had snow on Friday, so crazy. But coming back to the POTA activation on Tuesday, I was across the street at the lake, activating the parks there and using the Radiodity HF010 antenna. And I also wanted to do a POTA activation with the Kodan, which I did. And it worked well. So great radio, and I got great audio reports. So they say that the Kodan has a very good audio. So that makes me happy. And now I brought it back yesterday to the Red Cross where it should be. And now it's stored again in the basement for the next 20 years or so. Yeah. And I also did a video about this tiny. Oh, that's great. Yeah. A green display in front of a green screen doesn't work really well.
It's a transparent display.
It's it's called the Kai Weeds. I hope I pronounced it correct. KEMF1. That's a EMF meter. You can measure radio frequencies, magnetic fields, and electric fields. So they sent me this to do a review in German. I did a YouTube short so far, but I have to do a full review. And I also want to test my magnetic loop antenna with this device. And talking about 3D printing, the topic of today's show, I improved my HF010 antenna just a little bit. First of all, I made a slit in the cable winder because this was driving me crazy when everything is flapping around while winding. So I burned a slit into the winder on one side with an old soldering iron, which helps a lot. And I 3D printed this tiny little hook, which I now can slide into the telescopic whip. So it's much easier to measure the length of the whip. So this took me, I don't know, 15 minutes from designing it and printing it. So quick and dirty solution, but it's working well. And yeah, there is a contest going on, as we know, and I planned to visit the Fox at the club station yesterday. But the storm we had in the last couple of days here had other plans. And so the OptiBeam is now, or the replica of the OptiBeam is down because something has broken. And I posted a picture on Discord. I'm not sure if it's still, if it is still on the mast, but last time I saw a picture of the antenna, it was hanging down from the mast like crazy. We had storm.
I just like to point out to you, this is a very, very unique opportunity to run moonbounce on HF.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I will suggest to the owner.
Yeah.
Good idea. Yeah, and
or just Nevis.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
straight up
on
and
20
down, right?
meter, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Hi everybody. Hi Charlotte. Hi Espen and everyone else. Hi there. Yeah, and that was my ham radio week. Kjetil,
Nice. Yeah.
how is your
I
week
hope
been?
your antenna. Yeah, I hope your antenna survives well, though. That there's no big damage to it. Always sad when stuff like that falls down in a storm.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's been a quiet week radio-wise. Woke up to snow one morning, so it wasn't that tempting to go outside and play radio, to say it that way. And also had some other work stuff in the evening. So, and then I drove over here to the cabin, and I'm here. Been here since Thursday, so that's been lovely. And I've been running contests this weekend, so that's nice. So I've been running CQ World Prefix contest. I'm not one of the big gun stations, to say the least, so I just rounded 100 QSOs before I joined here. But this is one of my favorite contests because you get so many cool places. The same as the CQ Worldwide thing. Get so many countries that you just hear about otherwise. So
Nice. And what's your best country this far, Kjetil?
the coolest so far, at least, is Galapagos Island. And then
Nice.
I got Suriname, I got Kyrgyzstan, Kuwait. None of them are that uncommon, but still cool. And I was listening in on the pileup on the Galapagos guy for a while, and like just after I could hear him talk to a guy over in Australia, and that kind of brings in something I really love about the hobby. Just sitting here with a small self-built antenna and listening in on two people on the other side of the world talking to each other. That sounds a bit creepy, but
No.
You're among friends, Kjetil, so we know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and they're not exactly close to each other either. So so that's fun, and got quite a few QSOs, some local as well, and yeah, that's pretty much been it. I've also done some 3D printing this week. I also published a model, so I printed some of these ones. These are TPU end caps. This is for a Spider Beam 12 meter. That's not published yet, but I did for the SOTA Beams one. And these are printed in TPU 95. So they're nice and flexible, pretty much like the original. And they are really, really strong. Because these kind of things, they just disappear when you're out, or they break or whatever. So it's nice to have the pre-made ones, so you can just print.
I think there's some kind of monster going around and eating those end caps while you're activating.
Yes, I think
same. I think he's related to the washing machine, the sock monster.
I think it's also related to I think there's a mouse here at the cabin that eats T25 bits or T20 bits, like Torx bits, because they always disappear. So,
have you printed the cap with the P1S
yes.
printer? Okay.
Yes. So,
And how did you feed the TPU filament into the printer by hand, or is the AMS working? Because I've never tried this on my P1S.
yes, you cannot use the AMS with TPU 95. You have to use TPU 75 or something, which is much harder. But the TPU 95, you just disconnect the AMS and feed it on the back. There's a spool holder on the back. If you assemble that, and that works.
Yeah,
yes,
and Kjetil, I feel there's a story here somewhere with Charlotte's comment here.
I couldn't find my hammer, and I had to repair some stuff that my carpenter had left unfinished at the cabin. I had to cover it with plastic. So then I had an axe, which is the closest thing to a hammer when you need to knock nails into stuff. And she decided to call me the back of the axe.
An axe is a hammer.
Yeah, like if you look...
unless it's sharpened on both sides, it is a hammer.
If you look at this side of the axe, that works really well for nails. This side does not work really well as a hammer. So the cabin is safe again.
But
so
how did Charlotte find out? Was this a video call?
No, but I told her like I'm slightly busy hammering in nails with a hammer or with an axe. And that I asked if I could call her back.
Yeah, how rude.
Huh?
How rude.
Yes. Also, I've started setting up some telemetry here at the cabin. This is the BMH 680 sensor, lovely soldered on a Heltec wireless tracker, and that just works here from the cabin. So I'm gonna get that rigged up so that I can get temperature sensors or readings and so on while I'm not here. Not that I need it, but it's nice to have. So that's
any good amateur radio project. Not needed, but
yes.
Nice to have.
Yeah, and this is over LoRa. It's not Meshtastic. And the fun thing is LoRa APRS works better here than normal APRS over 2 meters.
Yep.
Which I find so strange.
Not uncommon. Same here.
Yeah, and the iGate or whatever it's called, it's on the same location. To my knowledge, it's in the same tower. So I find that so strange.
Which iGate are you using?
One down in Kragerø.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So worked fine. So that's fun. So that was me. What about you, Bård? Anything fun?
Probably not all that much. Ham radio is. I'm taking the entire next week and the following Monday off, so I had to finish off things at work. I've been playing with Meshcore, of course. I had a colleague and a friend help me to move my closest repeater that's just up the hill from here to basically, I think about 8 meters up a tree. We carried this really long ladder into the woods, right by a path where people were working. This was on a Saturday, and he climbed to the top of that thing and strapped the repeater to the tree. Sadly, that's close to no less than 3 radio masts up on the hillside next to where I live here, and the noise flow on that new location that's rose by almost 20 dB. So it's not doing a really brilliant job up there. I'll see if there's any settings I can adjust. Otherwise, that's probably going to have to come down. So we'll have to carry the ladder up there once again and send him up there and fetch it and put it in the old tree. I don't know. Other than that, I tried some mesh monitor. Is that the thing? Maybe it's an app that you can put on the phone and connect to the Meshtastic companion. You can drive around, and it's going to scan for nearby repeaters. So you get a. I didn't manage to get a coverage map, but at least it tells you at what location you are, when you can hear which repeaters. So I put that in the car and drove down to not far from where you are, actually, Kjetil. I was down right by Vealøs and back up. So
Cool. Like good old war driving then.
yeah. I can't remember war driving on the motorway, but yeah, I was driving the motorway down there, and yeah, I seen quite a few of these repeaters. So I'm going to try to analyze that data if I can manage to get it out of that app. If this is like some of the other tools for analyzing Meshcore, they use airport codes for you to pick geographic locations, because absolutely no good reason. And apparently my local airport wasn't registered, so I can upload these files. So if by any chance someone creates tools like that, if you're listening, use grid squares. That makes sense. Airports, not so much. No.
And
that's
your
just weird.
local airport, is that Torp?
Yep. I have a closer airport, but it has to be a 3-letter airport. I have the Jarlsberg one, which is a 4-letter, which would actually make sense for me. But no, that has to be one of the airport with a 3-letter code. So
yeah, the IATA code then.
Yeah. So not as smart as move ever. I almost want to just ask my friend with the French sounding name to create a similar app that uses grid square instead of airports, but we'll see. This is turning into a rant.
Yeah,
feels like.
how unusual.
How unusual indeed.
Yep.
I'll just leave it at that, I think, and hand it over to you, Morten. How's your radio week?
It's been a week. It's been a lot of radio stuff, not necessarily productive radio stuff, but me and another ham has been helping the family of one of the elder hams in my club clean up the shack, because he's too old to play radio now. So you know me and estate sales, things happen. So what you see here is on top, there's a Yaesu FT1500M. It's a 2-meter mobile rig. Needs a little bit of attention. The mic is pretty much gone. So I've ordered a new mic for it. Then it's Summer Camp FT757, also known as the Yaesu FT757 here. With a tuner and a power supply. After a quick visual inspection of the power supply, because it didn't have a power button, so I did a quick visual inspection of it, and that's not something I'd like to turn on. So that's going into recycling.
This is power supply and speaker, isn't it?
Yeah, power supply and speaker.
Yeah.
And the fire starter.
You're gonna throw that out?
The power supply?
Yeah.
I am probably going to take that to recycling. Yes.
Is it heavy?
Yes.
Don't throw it out. There's a transformer in there. They never break, and that's actually, it's got, even just for the copper, it's got value. So don't throw that out.
I know it has value, but seriously, I have a lot of junk in here in my house. So
and the 747 is still working?
The 757 is
757, yeah.
Semi-working.
Semi.
It receives okay-ish.
Mm.
It's, let's put it this way, it's intermittent on transmit. Some meters indicate that it puts power out, others don't. So I have no idea what's happening there.
The important thing to remember with the 757 is to just make sure that the doors and windows are sealed properly.
The GX2 was one of the first radios I used when I
it's definitely, I think it's definitely fixable. I don't think there's too much wrong with it. I haven't opened it yet. I've just tested it. It works okay on receive. It's not exactly spot on the sidebands. It's better on upper sideband than lower sideband. Lower sideband is not very good on it.
They drift a little bit, but this is easy to solve.
So it's going to be a project, to put it that way. But I like the look of it. So that's why I got it, well aware that it might not work and that it's going to be a project. So this is the 1500M. I've been cleaning this up a little bit. It's a little bit cleaner now. It's in my car at the moment, but due to lack of 2-meter activity, I haven't really confirmed that I can get a QSO on it. I know that I can open repeaters with it. Let's put it this way.
Is it ready for 145 Alive then?
Yeah, I'm probably going to use another radio for 145 Alive, but yeah, it should be able to use for 145.
Is that 50
Alive.
watt or what's the output?
50 watt, 50 watt, 2 meters only, and it has no fan, so it gets a little bit hot. And then I managed to squeeze in a PODA on Thursday. I used exactly 11 and a half minutes from putting the car in park until I backed up again after the activation. And that was the time I thought I had, because I was going to unload a whole load of stuff for the estate sale at the club, but I forgot my key, so I could actually have spent a half an hour more activating, because I spent 30 minutes waiting outside the club shack for people to arrive with key. So, but managed to squeeze a PODA in. It's been a while, so that was actually pretty good. And I got this thing. This is the Alinco DJS11. It's got a whooping 340 milliwatts of power. It's powered by three AA batteries. And it works. It even has CTCSS tones. And it's got a nice flip-up antenna like the Sony cell phones had in the mid-90s. So it's a weird little thing, but yeah, I've fallen kind of a little bit in love with this radio. It's going to be my Hamfest radio, I think.
Yeah, looks cute.
This is the 1500M in my car, which seemed smart until I don't have any place to put my cell phone now, because it kind of blocks the only place where I can mount my cell phone. You can see the cell phone holder a little bit to the left there, but there's no room for the phone. So I need to figure out something there. And then I've been 3D designing this week. A wind-up Rubikoff. As I wrote on Discord, one of those projects that seems like a good idea until you start working on it. And then you kind of see halfway through this that this is not going to work as planned, but you keep going. The plan was to have the winder or the reel at the top of the mast. The thing is, though, you cannot lock the reel when it's 10 meters above you. So it kind of failed a little bit there. I had to lay everything flat on ground, set everything up, and raise the mast in winds today, which was not fun. It worked, but it wasn't really any fun to put it up. It didn't really give any real life improvements to my other way of setting up a Rubikoff. So the next plan is to have a balun with the reel at the bottom of the mast and just extend it and then lock the reel when you're done. There's no actually practical use to this, but or no reason why I just can't tape the wire to the mast. But I'm what they call in poker pot committed now, so I need to just finish off the project.
I have a question about that, and in fact, because if you put the reel on top of the mast,
yep,
wouldn't that make it a wind down antenna?
Yeah, it would, but
yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, but yeah, it didn't turn out. The idea started out well and good in my head, but it needs some improvement. But we'll get there somehow.
What it needs is a better marketing team, so that you can sell it anyways, even though it's crap.
Yeah. Chameleon, if you're listening, no, sorry. The last time we did that, the social media representative of Chameleon came back to us in the comment section. So after a couple of beers. So we're not going to do that.
Oh, good times.
But
Oh.
if you make military equipment and ham radio antennas, feel free to reach out and we can work out a deal.
This could be the world's first wind down antenna, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
just saying.
Except you're not winding down when you're putting this up because it's frustrating. Espen says just call it the DX Unwinder and you're good.
That's a nice neutral term. That works whether or not you put the spool on top or the bottom.
Yeah.
Call it the POTA unwinder.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's for the 160 bridge thing we talked about. Like for winding down from a bridge.
Yeah.
Then that would be smart. If you're dropping the balun, this would be smart.
Yeah.
But there's no let's put it this way. I need to do some improvements. It works as it is, but it's not a very good concept.
No.
So let's see. I think that was my ham radio week. Fortunately, Easter is coming up, so I have more time for projects that can fail. So
Oh yeah.
but yeah, I'm gonna get somewhere with it. And yeah, besides that, I've been playing with a couple of TNCs, a couple of MFJ TNC 2s. There's not going to be a video on this.
How do you find like reading manuals from the 80s? Is it fun?
I find it easy if I was hooking this up to a Commodore 64 or an Amiga. Then it'd be beneficial.
We know someone that has one of these.
Yeah,
but
I have a
send
Amiga
it
as
to
well.
me.
Yeah, there's something happening here, and I think there's some kind of command to turn it on so it PTTs, and I kind of found that command, but even though I turn it on, it still won't PTT. So yeah, it just gives me too high of a blood pressure to wanna work on. Actually, it's not worth it. So sorry, Lon. Easter is next Sunday. Today's Palm Sunday, so you're still a week off.
Yes. If he had put that in his Palm pilot planner, then he would have known.
Yeah.
In the calendar on that.
I guess if you live on Easter Island, it's Easter all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ham radio. Let's see. What did we call this? Our favorite ham radio 3D prints. Let's do somewhat of a round table here. Sean, what's your favorite ham radio? Now, Jürgen, almost.
Almost.
Almost. You know, talking about 3D printing, Sean is usually here. So
good question. Yeah, I don't know. I've printed a lot of cable winders and yeah, of course, this little thingy here, because these things, yeah, when you use something like this antenna and then you run into a problem because this slides off every time you measure the antenna, or you want to measure the antenna, and then I'm run into some ideas like this little thingy here. This is very useful. Of course, also these things here. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Let me grab the orange one. These little thingies.
I'm not sure. Orange works a little bit better again, but not by much.
This is better for the LoRa devices and so on. Cable winders, yeah. Everything you need in a daily ham radio daily life, yeah. But there's no special thingy right now. I've printed a lot of stuff, but I can't say there is something very special to me.
No, what single thing is the thing you print the most?
Cable winders, maybe cable winders, because sometimes they disappear. You're out, you activate, you come home and you miss something, or you want to wind the cable up again, and yeah,
Or you
I think
can
that's related to the disappearing mast caps and socks.
For example, talking
Yeah.
about mast caps, I also printed a replacement cap to screw on to my DX wire masts because they break really easy, especially when you don't care about, and you let's slide the mast segments in, and then they push through the bottom cap, so they destroy the bottom cap. So 3D printed those caps. So yeah. Yeah, there's more. I want to 3D print, but that's a project for summer, because I still have my Go box here, but there's no life in it. So first I have to figure out how to do it, and I have to 3D print some thingies, and then I can put my radios into the Go box. But that's a project for summer. Kjetil,
Yeah.
what about you? What are your favorite prints? Or
Well, it's the small useful things again, like you mentioned cable winders. I've printed quite a few of the ones that Martin made for the linked dipole kit he sold one time, and those are really nice. And just to like have a SO239 and the cable at the same place, so really simple. And other stuff like this end cap, anything that's really simple, that just helps you with the simple tasks. That's like the killer thing for me when it comes to printing. And I see board, you have lots of like cable hangers on the back on your door there. I'm not sure if those are things you printed or not, but I printed a lot of these back in the day, at least. So that kind of stuff, the simple ones. Also, of course, the one you mentioned here with the LoRa thing. These are really nice. This is a bit more advanced to print, or not advanced, but it's more parts. But it's really nice when you can actually get a proper product like that.
Yep.
Working.
I just popped my dipole winder here up on screen. If anyone wants to take a look at it, you can find it over in Thingiverse.
Yep.
It was a design I spent a lot of time on, but I got to be honest, I don't use those myself anymore.
No.
But I'd be happy if you download it and perhaps give me a like on it. I'm not sure how I can see that on Thingiverse. Perhaps I'm not logged in, so that's probably why I can't see that. But yeah.
So
sorry, Kjetil.
but that's also how we met, Martin, through 3D printing. You were posting some 3D print project to a Facebook group about ham radio.
That's correct. I was making a box for the G90, and it took a while to prototype this. And you had a faster printer or something. I think you had a bigger hot end
nozzle
than I had. Nozzle.
Yeah, I had a 0.8 millimeter nozzle, so I was just pushing out.
So you had a G90, so that helped the prototyping a lot. Put it that way.
I never ended up using it, but it was nice anyways.
I used the box for my previous G90, and then I think my wife has some flower things or something in it now. So the box has a second life.
Oh yeah, and mentioning that of non-ham radio things, I printed a lot of decorative things like thin vases and others, especially that you can put lights in them, like LED strings and so on. And that's a lot of nice decoration you can make for Christmas or for Easter or for gifts or whatever. Like there's a lot of nice things you can make. So
lots of crazy things, unnecessary things, like the Voyager.
I don't find that unnecessary, but
it's Star Trek, so it's no. Let's not go there.
Yeah. So I think that's nice. Also, I designed quite a few things, and even had one of my things being ripped off and sold on both Etsy and from your friends on AliExpress, Morten. The CE19 box that I printed or designed at one time.
Yeah, but is that an honor, or is that really does it make you happy or sad when that happens?
I don't know. They would have done it anyways. So I should have just released it as commercial, but it's released as non-commercial. So it's just fun. Sad thing is when people do that and they don't accredit it or credit you for it.
Yeah.
But it's fun though, like to see things spread out and that things can be useful.
Yeah,
So-
and that CE19 box, I mean, it seems like Saigu just released a prototype, so having a
Yep.
box available is probably nice for people.
A prototype? They have several products, Martin.
Yeah, but the CE19.
Yes, but the rest of them
Another
are also
prototype.
prototypes.
Yeah, but on the other prototypes, so you remember to put it in a box first.
Yes. Yeah. What about you, Bård? Anything fun?
Yeah, I'm amazed of the two things. One, I've never printed a winder, I think. So I think all the winders I have, I've cut them from chopping boards, nylon chopping boards. Could probably have saved a lot of time and a lot of small pieces of nylon on my floor from 3D printing instead. So I'll consider that for the future. And
So
another thing,
you've never heard of people 3D printing wire winders before?
oh yes, I've heard about it. I just haven't done it. And both Kjetil and Jørgen says that that's one of the things they print the most, and I think that's I'm clearly not typical, which pleases me. So,
If you ask me what's my favorite or my most printed color, I guess that's yellow. By the way, orange and yellow, my most printed colors, because I like these signal colors. Because it's also good when you're out in the field and you lose something, or
Yeah. Anything's got to be high visibility.
people can't walk on it, etc.
I agree, and I think maybe not yellow, but at least orange and black. That's what I. And I think, according to my wife, this is this has to do with whether or not you're able to take a piss standing up. If you are, you like orange and black. If you don't, if you can't, then you don't. So I think that's where that comes from. But yeah, continue. I think I mostly 3D print things when I need them. I get into some situation or something happens and I need something to continue what I was doing, and I will just design it up and print it. So basically, from where I'm sitting now, I didn't prepare for this, but there's a mount for this is a Logitech Brio cam to use for an overhead cam, and just reaching around. This is a box. This is not my design, by the way, but yeah, if I can find it and not have to design it, I will get it. This is another one for these LoRa radios. Yet another one. I think there's been several videos on this one. Let's see if I look around. This for my battery-powered LoRa Digipeater experiment, I needed a box for batteries. This holds for 18650 batteries. I had battery holders, but they were of Chinese quality, so I just 3D printed a box. Simple as that. I'm just reaching around from where I sit now. This is the all-in-one cable, where the PCB is inside this little nice little 3D printed box, and with the cable attached. So for me, that's what I use 3D printers for. I have a project, I have something in mind, and I get to a point where I need something. I'll draw it up and print it out. And it's very, very seldom I print the same things more than maybe a few times, except for prototyping, of course. That's I'd say more than half of the plastic I use is lost to prototyping. But now I've gotten even this what's it called? Is it P1S which is a multicolor, and that wastes plastic all by itself, because you can print multiple colors, and then of course it will have to flush out for every layer. It needs to flush out all the colors. So that thing will easily waste 50% of the plastic by itself. But
and the fun thing is, when you print multicolor, you sometimes use or you sometimes waste more filament than you actually use for your print.
Absolutely. And I just reached for another thing. I was standing right next to my cameras. This one from the Norwegian Ham meeting, QR codes with
that's Rickroll ones, right?
No, sadly.
You do know that the Rickroll video is now off YouTube.
Yeah,
It's been
right.
taken down. The link
Really?
that every the link that almost all the Rickroll things link to is now taken down from YouTube.
That's an old meme, but it's still there.
Yeah. Talking about that, well, let's take a detour, because I once made a small project. I didn't make it. I just remade it from someone else's recipe, which was an ESP32 that would announce itself as different access points, and basically it was all the lyrics from one of the Rick Astley songs that you got. So when you open your phone scanning for a network, you were never going to give you up, never going to, and all that thing. And of course, it started with the number 0102, so that you got it in the right order.
Yeah.
I'm thinking you're trying to Rickroll people now, Kjetil.
Never. I also, by the way, you talked about that Rickrolling. I once mistakenly managed to push a Azure network configuration where all the VNets were like the song text for, or the lyric lines for Rickroll, so they were named after that. So that got pushed into a production environment where the name of the VNets were that.
And you still have a job?
For whatever reason, yes.
You know, they're never going to give him up.
No, that's true. All right. Yeah. Should we climb back out of this rabbit hole and continue with 3D printing?
I think so.
I think that's it for my part. It's I think I have several videos as well where I use a lot of 3D printing in the things that I make, and the thing that I love about it, the love of making things, I got that from my father. He would make and fix and or repair pretty much anything, but he's got this amazing patience for just sitting down and doing something just right. And I don't have that at all. I can do that when I sit in front of a computer, but when I actually get let's say a piece of wood in front of me and I need to carve it out and make it into a nice shape that's going to look nice, I just don't have the patience for it. But with 3D printing, I can do that on the computer screen, and a good 3D printer will make it perfect every time. And that's something I really, really love about making things with a 3D printer. So yeah, luckily I haven't fallen into the rabbit hole of getting lathes and the milling machines yet, but could happen.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's so much more fun. And laser. You need a laser.
No, laser is just boring. That's extremely two-dimensional, so I don't think I really need a laser. But a good 5-axis mill, I'll take that.
You get 5-axis lasers as well.
Yeah, they're scary enough in the 2 dimensions, I think. Yeah. So, but yeah, that was. I can't even remember what the question was, but I think it's Morten's turn next.
My turn. First of all, the thing you're saying about not having the patience or the skill or anything to do anything out of wood or something is absolutely correct. That's the reason why I 3D print as well, because it's a tool that makes me make parts that look good. I originally got my 3D printer, I think I've told this before, when I had my camper, and the handles for the kitchen sink broke, and you couldn't buy those separately. You had to buy a whole new sink.
I,
with the
I, I
handles
was
that
sure you're going to say we're going to say a whole new camper van. I'm really disappointed.
But the thing is, though, I figured, well, I could do this with a 3D printer. I'd never done any 3D design in my life, so it's got to be said, though, the learning curve was a bit steep, and I think it was 2 weeks before we were going on vacation, so I needed to fix this, and I spent a lot of time actually fixing this, but that led me into 3D printing, which, again, well, didn't lead me into ham radio, but, well, they're adjacent. I think the question was our most 3D printed thing, and since I misspoke your name earlier again, I'm gonna put up a design by Sean here. This is probably my most 3D printed thing, which is a wire winder.
Yeah, that was a
And
fun one. I remember when he was designing that, a lot of iterations.
Mm.
oh yeah, Sean never gets satisfied on the first try. Just gotta fix my green screen behind me. But this is he has this in a lot of different sizes and variants for PL plugs, for BNC plugs, a mini version, and it's just so versatile. I've used it for a lot of designs. Unfortunately, I don't have any on my desk at the moment, but that's probably my most 3D printed thing. And as with the rest of you guys, I have the LoRa thing is, which is probably what I print most of these days, the different cases for the different LoRa boards. As with Bob, I also have a desk here. Boxes for stuff, holders for stuff, adapters for stuff. And I start searching first if there's something close to what I want to achieve with it. If someone has made the model already, I don't sit down and design it. But if there's nothing available, I can sit down and design it, as I did with the wind up Rubicoff design, which was a wind down Rubicoff design, which didn't turn out good. So well, that's probably going to be my next 3D print project design. Balun that has the reel attached to it and clips to the mast, and doesn't coil the wire while unwinding it. So it's somehow going to be a lot more complicated than my half-baked idea, which didn't turn out good. Either that, or I'm just going to abandon the project. But we'll see what happens. I so really want to have this work, but it might be a project that could be very over-engineered.
What if you get one of those springy things that you have in vacuum cleaners? You can just yank it down and then it will go up by itself afterwards.
Yeah, that is actually not a half bad idea. The thing is, though, I got a couple of these reels, and I want to make a video on those. Or actually, AliExpress is telling me that I need to make a video on them soon. So that's why I started this project, because I thought this is 45 minutes of 3D design, and I'll be done. And I've made a good video and a good design. Turn out that it's not that easy. The winders are good, though. I've featured them in other videos, such as, I do have a design here, such as the this is attached somehow. Let's see if I can detach it. The 91 on a reel.
Yeah. What if you just bring them out and go fishing or something, and film that instead? Like getting food at the quota.
I could. I don't think these aren't high quality reels.
I'm shocked.
You're so, yeah. I mean, they're like $3 a piece, or less than $3 a piece. So they're not really high quality, but they're cheap and they're good enough for what we're doing. But I wouldn't be fishing with them.
Yeah. Well, okay.
You talked about that magic thing that makes the wire coil back into the vacuum cleaner. I had an idea. I got up to look for it because I started working on that. And the same concept in tape measures.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was planning on actually doing one of these, but if you have opened one of these tape measures, could be hard because it's pretty violent what happens when you open that thing. Especially if it's a 10-meter tape measure, then that's pretty violent. So yeah, we'll see.
If I could find a 7.6 meter tape measure, I could make a tape measure, Rebekov.
If you find a 10-meter one, I can make it 7 point something.
Yeah, you just
for free.
Get another tape. You get another tape measure, and you measure up 2.4 meters from the end, and then you cut it off.
Yeah, I've done that mistake before when buying rolls of wire, and when I say I need 47 meters, I've cut off 3 meters from a 50-meter roll. That usually doesn't turn out to be that accurate.
Yeah. But you mentioned knobs, and that's something I printed both for radios and other stuff as well, like the first thing you printed there. So, but here at the cabin, we have a gas stove, and or had one, and the knobs on that were crappy plastic. They just fell apart after a while use, and new ones cost about as much as the stove new. They just didn't want to sell them. They sold them, but I think they were like 1,000 kroner a piece, or $100 a piece. It's insane. So I just printed, and that worked fine. But so
you have orange knobs now on the stove?
No, I have a new stove since a lot of other things broke as well. So another question for you guys. You're, or I think all of you are designing. You as well, Jürgen. So what do you use for designing? If we start with you, Jürgen.
Fusion 360.
Yep. I used that, but I used to use SolidWorks because that was what I used at work. But now I switched completely to FreeCAD, and it's not that horrible. It's a thing to get used to. It's like switching from switching any other program. It's just getting used to it, and the new version of it has become significantly better than they were a few years back. So that's nice. What about you, Bob?
Yeah, same thing. I've tried Fusion 360, which isn't bad in any way, but the company that owns that thing is just horrible. They did some switcheroo things with licenses and privileges and things and bait and switch type things and behavior. I don't put up with that. So the first time they did that, I just exported everything I had in there and closed that account. I haven't touched it yet, and I'm not going to touch it ever again. Not because it's bad software, because it's a bad company that owns it. So me too. I switched to FreeCAD. I've been using it for a while, so I can attest to what you're saying about the later versions being a lot less annoying, and also to the fact that it's very, very different from anything you've tried before. But if you put the effort in, it wasn't effortless to learn Fusion 360. I can assure you that you did put a lot of work into that. And if you put the same amount of work into FreeCAD, at least the current version, I think you're going to be pretty positively surprised.
But that's my issue, though. I don't want to put that amount of work into actually learning that again.
No, but I would say that you said it's different than anything else you used. I would say it's not. If you use SolidWorks, it's not that different. It's just that the shortcuts and the key combinations are different.
Yeah, and the fact that the model falls apart completely if you move one piece of it.
Yeah, that reminds me of the SolidWorks 15 years ago.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, but I don't want to dissuade anyone from using FreeCAD. I think is a very cool piece of software, but you need to get into it. You need to spend the time to learn it if you're gonna like it. Else, of course, you're just gonna hate it. Like every other piece of software, you don't bother to learn. So yeah, and I understand what you're saying, Morten. With don't want to learn again, but you're using Fusion as well, aren't you?
I'm using Fusion, and Fusion is one of decreasing number of applications that stops me from switching to Linux on the desktop. Because well, at least for CAD design, you do have alternatives. One of the other things that has stopped me is the Flex Radio infrastructure. Now there's a new open source Flex client called TEHRS SDR, which I'm going to take a look at, which is supposedly really good. So if that works, I'm a bit closer. The third one is gaming, and gaming is, well, you can do that on Linux now, so that's not really an issue. And DaVinci Resolve, which could perhaps somewhat runs on Linux, but not. So yeah, there's a couple.
They have
apps.
a native Linux version of that of DaVinci Resolve. It didn't work, but.
There's a native Linux there's a native Linux version for a Linux distro I've never heard about.
Yep.
So that's also why didn't they just make it for Debian based distributions or something like that, and it could just work.
At this point, I have to say I've been using Linux for a long time and I love it for its uses. At this point, saying Debian based, that's like saying a wheel based car.
Yes, exactly. But that's not what the DaVinci did.
No, all right. Yeah.
So we'll talk about Linux and radio. I've been doing contesting this weekend, and it suddenly dawned on me that I didn't have N1MM set up on Linux, like it's a Windows app. And
is that hard to you?
I then probably not, but I found out that, or remembered that Station Master, which Golf5 Stu has made, that runs natively on Linux, and it does contesting and the cat control and so on. So I've been using that this weekend, the Station Master 3 version. That's been working quite fine for contesting, and
I like Station Master. It's a good piece of software. It's what I use for my logger at home.
Yeah, so he's coming on May 31st. He'll be on show again to show the differences for the advances from last time he was was on the show. So that's gonna be nice. But yeah, it worked nice. Very different shortcuts and so on from N1MM. But I also know the thing to get used to.
Yeah, I don't understand N1MM. It's the software I use when I have to use it, and not anytime else. So that shouldn't bother me. I use that for field day, and that's pretty much it. And if now Sebastian comes out with networked contesting support in Polo by the time we have our field day, N1MM might be history for me.
Yeah, to be fair, I the first 15 QSOs I did in contesting mode in Polo, and I just then exported that and imported it over in Station Master. So that doesn't have cat control, but that worked fine as well. So there's CQ World prefix contest support in there as well now.
There's also, when you're talking about loggings and solutions, there's something called Wavelog, which is it's clearly not finished, but it's a thing, and I've been watching this, and this could turn into a pretty cool thing. It's been at least half a year since I looked at it last time, but maybe we should get some of those guys on as well. That could be fun.
Yeah, I had to talk to them because I made a video about Wavelog, and a week later or so, one of the developers reached out to me, and he's a Swiss guy. And I asked him if they want to come to the show, and yeah, he said yes. So I just have to send out an invitation.
Yeah, we should get that as well. Get and Sebastian, so we can have a sort of a, maybe not in the same show, but
no, I don't. Let's keep the developer support.
Let's have all of them in there and get the N1MM people in and the other ones, and just have like a fight.
So,
No,
so
I
that means
think,
we could just say ding at the start of the show, and then we can just lean back and watch.
Let's
yeah.
develop Wave Polo MM
Yeah.
Plus
Plus.
deluxe.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're reaching the top of the hour now. Next week is our strangest activation spots, and I see someone put in LB5QK as a guest.
Yes.
Yeah, you did.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Dion, isn't it?
To my knowledge, it's Charlotte, but it could be somebody
Yeah,
else.
it's Charlotte.
If I-
Yeah, all the five call signs. I haven't learned Charlotte. Charlotte has had so many call signs over the last year or so.
Yes.
So I
It's-
have no chance hanging on remembering her call sign.
It's her call sign of the week. But no, she's coming over here to Norway for the Easter. So at least I haven't asked her yet, but I expect that she'll join.
Yeah, I think she's in the chat here. So I guess she'll let us know if not.
Yeah.
Otherwise, no, I'm not going to even go there with the axe joke. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's it for now. Next week will be Easter, but we'll be here, not wearing our bunny suits.
No.
No.
Oh,
Why not?
Because I don't have one.
all right. But you have an affiliate account at AliExpress, don't you?
Yeah, but they don't ship that fast.
Okay.
And I've tried ordering a couple of T-shirts on AliExpress, and let me tell you, Chinese XXL is not anywhere close to a European large. So they don't have sizes big enough for me.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it for now. We'll see you. Okay. Andre already ordered a bunny suit from AliExpress. So.
Very nice.
Very
nice.
nice. And
Okay.
yes, Charlotte, I'm blaming the UK licensing because I cannot remember your Norwegian call sign. Sorry about that.
Yes.
Yeah. On that note, we'll see you next Sunday. Enjoy the holidays if you live in a country where Easter is somewhat an off period. And we'll see you next Sunday. 7-3 all.
7-3.